Hello and welcome in everybody to this monumental day. We'll call it even a historic day as we sit down with the man with the plan, the man in charge, Kevin Hinchey, the president, the founder of PAC-Hub. And today we will talk about all things PAC-Hub and what makes this product so revolutionary. Something that, as Kevin will explain, can really change the college athletics landscape. Kevin, first of all, thank you for your time today.
John, thank you. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
So PAC-Hub, right? I think it's something that people around the college athletics sphere are starting to hear of more and more. And let's start right there. What is PAC-Hub?
So let's just start with the pack. It's players and colleges, players and collectives, players and coaches, right? I mean, that's it's the wild west, and we trying to kind of wrangle the horses in and get everybody pretty streamlined in one direction.
So one of the main features that we'll talk a lot about today is the actual portal aspect itself with PAC-Hub, right? Where you have student athletes who enter the transfer portal, which has in many ways become like the Wild West, right? And PAC-Hub kind of has a solution for both the student athletes and the coaches. Can you walk us through what that solution is?
Well, right now, I mean, there's different things that are coming into it, and the players, they want to get paid. They want to use the NIL and what's going on with that to advance themselves. And last year there was 16,000 and change student athletes in the NCAA transfer portal. Right now, there's over 35,000, and it's based upon money, right? Money's moving the needle, and it's not going away. That's for sure.
Right. Money, opportunity. There are so many things right now in play in the world of college athletics. And when it comes to what PAC-Hub does, right, let's dive into that a little bit. Some numbers here for you. In terms of strictly baseball, 104 pitchers, 30 catchers, 87 outfielders, 97 infielders, and 15 utility players. Again, all baseball. Now, these student athletes have entered the NCAA transfer portal, and then they have also entered the PAC-Hub portal, which college coaches are also involved in, and they can now identify these players. What separates the PAC-Hub portal from just the standard NCAA transfer portal?
So John, great question. I mean, the reason that PAC-Hub was developed is because there's things that are lacking in the NCAA transfer portal, and stats, GPA, transcript, years of eligibility, whether you throw right-handed, left-handed, batting average, all the different things that PAC-Hub has at its disposal right now, which actually saves a lot of time and money on the coaches and assistant coaches. And that's why you're able to get into PAC-Hub and get out, right? I mean, you talk about what don't you want in the NCAA transfer portal? You don't want people to be left. You don't want student athletes to have no place to go at the end, right? And that's, unfortunately, that's what's going on right now.
And it's really like a matchmaking process. You really get all of the details, right? You have a coach who can go in and can see stats, like you said, can see right hand, left hand, switch hitter. You can see certain numbers, GPA, all of the really important things that coaches want. What kind of input did you take from coaches, athletes, and kind of what type of people did you get input from when it came to putting this together?
So, I mean, I reached out to people that I've had relationships with, through, the Sorgity Stallions in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League in New York. Jim Foster from Northwestern was huge in this. Colin Martin from Weber International was huge. Ken Herring from UMass Lowell, just different people that I said, listen, what you have right now, what we have going on, what we're lacking, how can we build the perfect dynamic? And the reason I brought Colin Martin in from an NAIA school is because they do not have a portal. There's no portal for them, or junior colleges, and that's the need, because a lot of the players in all sports, if they can't find a home in a Division 1, 2, or 3, they still want to continue their athletic career. right? So the windows close with the NCAA, but it never closes with PAC-Hub.
Let's start with the coaches side of things, right? You mentioned before coaches have so much on their plate, and PAC-Hub is something that can save time, can save effort, can save money. What are the benefits from a coach's perspective to being a part of PAC-Hub?
Well, I think just streamlining the process. I mean, if you're looking for a left-handed pitcher, you can just type in left-handed pitcher with an ERA of, sub 4, right? And they can see, number one, how many years they have left. They can see transcript, so they can see if their credits can come over to their school, right? They don't want to waste a lot of time and effort, but they can streamline it right down to their ERA, what their GPA is, and then give them offers in seconds, which would normally could take them 2 days. Because if there's 7,000 players in the portal, you click on each one, it may say outfielder, catcher, corner, infielder. You may spend 3 hours until you come upon a pitcher that is, kind of fits the description of what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the flip side of that, what are the benefits for a student athlete to, once they sign up and enter their name in the NCAA transfer portal, to then also sign up for PAC-Hub?
Well, I mean, just on the transfer portal side, we're not getting into the NIL stuff yet, but they want to find a home, right? They can sign up for PAC-Hub. They can pick 10 of the schools in which they're interested in, and they can hit send, and they will automatically go to those schools to let them know that, hey, I have an interest here in your program. So, and on vice versa, the coaches can say, listen, I'm looking for a catcher, a left-handed pitcher, and a center fielder. And if those two things don't align, that athlete will get an email back saying, thanks for your inquiry. However, at this point in time, you don't fit the description of what we're looking for.
It's really a unique thing that, as you said, has saved a lot of time for all parties involved. Let's dive a little bit into your background and kind of the genesis of PAC-Hub itself. What previous roles have you held in the world of college athletics that kind of pushed you towards creating PAC-Hub?
So over the past 7 years, I've owned the Sorgity Stallions in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. And last year, we had 40 players show up, and 17 of them entered the transfer portal. So I spent my summer trying to land them a new home. We were very successful in that aspect, but I found that there was such a need, and there's a need not only to find them a home, but you'll have some that find a home quicker than others, and there's different aspects that play a role in that. Number one is mental, right? We have we've created some partnerships inside PAC-Hub to kind of help with with mental health. So that's kind of what started the train running here with PAC-Hub is the Sorgity Stallions, and we never looked back.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned partnerships. I know that there have been some partnerships with PAC-Hub, maybe some more coming down the road as well. Can you share some of those partnerships that you think can elevate PAC-Hub to the next level?
Sure. While we're moving forward, things are changing, and we ask what the needs are, right? Because we don't want to waste our time with developing software for needs that are not current to everyday process. And the first one is, we talk about verified statistics, right? Because players send coaches statistics every day, but unless they're verified by some sort of company or software, it is what it is. So we've connected in the baseball realm with Baseball Cloud and Yakkertech, two companies that were formed by Kevin Davidson, and they've been an unbelievable metric for us. And then from there, we get into the mental health aspect. we partner with Restoric, which is an app for for players to reach out to when they're having some sort of trouble, right? And then on the other side, we partner with UHY, a financial firm, because with the NIL part of PAC-Hub, student athletes don't understand when they start getting paid, they need to pay taxes, right? We need to make sure that they're prepared, that they're moving in the right direction, so they don't get hurt, right? So everything that PAC-Hub does is based around protecting the student athlete, making sure they have the most success as they possibly can.
Yeah, and as you said before, you've been a part of the world of college athletics for roughly 7 years from owning the Stallions. And early on, the transfer portal wasn't really a thing, right? NIL was not a thing. And now it is, and it does add a lot of stress. So clearly you feel it's important to add that mental health side to it. And I'm sure that's very beneficial for these athletes.
Yeah, 100%. These are different things that I know the NCAA is looking at, but I don't think mental health is part of what their overall plan is at this current state. So I like to think that PAC-Hub is a couple steps ahead with what the needs are that arise with some of these athletes.
All right, so we hit one point of it, right? The transfer portal aspect, which correct me if I'm wrong, but was kind of the founding idea behind it, right? Creating that link between student athletes and coaches in one portal.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the foundation.
And then moving on from that, right? In college athletics, you have the transfer portal and NIL, and both things really popped up simultaneously. And many have described it as the Wild West. You have created what can be a solution from the transfer portal side, and now working on the NIL side as well. Can you share some of those details with us?
Yeah, so we created based upon the need, because the transfer portal and NIL, as they came up together, they've really developed into something that I don't think any of us were prepared for. So we needed to be able to really move the needle in certain directions to help kind of streamline the entire process. So with the NIL, listening to what the NCAA is looking for going to Congress and the Senate is they're looking for some transparency, right? So they're looking for messaging that can be seen between as the deals unfold, right? We talk about collectives. That's the same thing that keeps coming up over and over and over again. They talk about standardized contracts. So what we did is we created in PAC-Hub, we created a messaging system in which you can see every step of the way, the colleges, the collectives, and the transfer portal part of this platform, right? And we have a terms and conditions which state once you sign up for PAC-Hub, right, you have to do every deal that you do through this software platform, right? You can't, there's no more backdoor deals, or there's going to be negative results on the student athlete's end. So we created the messaging system. Then we created standardized contracts in which you can just bring down the person's name, what they're planning on doing. You can pay for it. Everything is universal for them, right? And it's really revolutionary. It's everything that the NCAA is looking for. We have right now underneath that platform.
Very interesting. And where did some of the input from that idea come from?
Well, it was just a need. We're kind of keeping our finger on the pulse of what they're looking for, right? And how we can make it very easy and transparent for them, because nobody else has a transfer portal like PAC-Hub. There's a lot of competition in the NIL world, but if the transfer portal is what they're going to be using to dangle the carrot, right? We need to come up with a solution for them. So the NIL marketplace and the transfer portal, when they work collaboratively, that is the solution to this Wild West. And it does not hurt anyone, right? It doesn't hurt the student athlete. It doesn't hurt the collectives. It doesn't hurt the sponsors, and it doesn't hurt the NCAA. It also opens up avenues for junior colleges and AIA. So it's really a perfect world.
And as you see on the bottom of our screen, as the scroll goes on, you can learn more by visiting www.pac-hub, pac-hub.net. Listen, I've already learned a lot. We're 15 minutes into this. I've learned a lot from this call so far. I hope everyone who is tuning in is learning just as much as well. There's, like you said, everything has kind of happened so quickly between the portal and NIL. PAC-Hub itself popped up. I know it was a lot of work, but things are evolving quickly. And I know that there is some exciting things moving forward as well. You've been in talks with some prominent people. Can you dive into who you've been speaking with and what might be next for PAC-Hub?
Well, I mean, since the NCAA is talking to some Congress people, so is PAC-Hub, right? We have a pretty strong New York delegation, and we've had conversations with probably 10 congressmen and women from both sides of the aisle, just to have them be educated on what PAC-Hub was and how much of a helpful software tool it is. And every one of them has said that they'll give letters of support and hopefully bring the two of us together, meaning NCAA and PAC-Hub, so we can come up with a solution pretty quickly to kind of, slow down the craziness.
And it does seem like a lot of reports have said that federal legislation might be the way forward in this. It seems like that's the avenue that you're kind of hitting on as well. Is that how you feel?
I do. I mean, because I think anytime, John, you have two different sides, you need to have somebody come in and kind of say, listen, let's come up with a solution without really having to, force legislation, right? Because that, I don't think anybody needs to have it forced. But having something like PAC-Hub come in and then, kind of sit everybody down at the table and say, I think we have it. Let's figure out how we can use it and move forward. So I think, the new president, Charlie Baker, some of the sponsorships and collaborative team, and obviously, we're looking forward to trying to help, something really come out of this that's going to push the college athletic scene in the right direction.
So I want you to look into your time machine, right? Let's look down the road a little bit. 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. What do you hope PAC-Hub becomes in these next few years in such an evolving landscape in college athletics?
Well, what I hope it does, I hope it becomes a helpful tool and allows the transfer portal to have student athletes exit almost as fast as they enter, right? Because nobody wants to sit there. They want to find a new home. They want to continue playing their sport, going to a new school, and that's what I hope it is. I hope the student athletes they're compensated for their name, image, and likeness. I hope the NCAA understands that people can work together. I hope they open up their arms and embrace the NAIAs and junior colleges when their window shuts. Hopefully it opens up for the NAIA schools and the junior college schools to help relieve some of the pressure that they have inside the transfer portal.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that last point that you made, NAIA and JUCO. I think so many people have focused when it comes to the portal and NIL on the Division I ranks, and even to shrink that down, just the Power 5 programs. Why is it such a focal point for you to not just sit on D1, but to even go all the way through the NAIA and junior college levels?
Well, John, I mean, things have changed. I mean, a lot of the high school athletes that would normally, go to these bigger programs, right? The programs are going in another direction where they're going into the transfer portal to get athletes that are stronger, mentally stronger and physically stronger, right? Because they are there to win tomorrow, right? They want to win. And unfortunately, the young men and women who planned on going to these bigger schools, they don't receive the opportunity that they felt they were going to receive. So after year one, when you're not getting the playing time that you thought you were going to be getting, they go to a junior college or they'll go to an NAIA in which they're playing every day and building themselves up in the hopes that they'll go back to a D1 or get drafted out of that. So, it's a completely different playing field now than it was 2 years ago. NAIA schools, the competition is unbelievable. Some of the best players that are in the country are at junior colleges, right? And, the landscape of the NCAA is what it is right now. So hopefully it gets better.
Hopefully. And we've talked a lot about baseball. I know that's kind of your background, working with the Saugerties Stallions and building connections across different levels of baseball nationwide. Are there other sports on the horizon for PAC-Hub?
Well, right now we have softball, we have football, basketball will be done within the next 2 weeks. And we're going to be covering girls volleyball, bowling, gymnastics. By this time next year, we'll have everything, if not sooner. If we can have a collaborative effort between the NCAA and PAC-Hub, it can really push it, expedite the process for sure.
Absolutely. And just as we kind of wrap things up, what would be your pitch? Let's say I'm a student athlete, I'm entering the transfer portal. What's your pitch to me saying, hey, this is why you need to sign up for PAC-Hub?
The pitch is pretty simple. If you signed up 2 months ago, just in baseball, you have 7,000 people that are on top of you right now. You're never going to get seen again. It's that easy. If you enter PAC-Hub, coaches can search for you by your position, right? They can search for you by your years of eligibility. They can't do that in the NCAA transfer portal right now. So it's a lost world. It's a lonely island out there for those that enter the transfer portal. After you leave that school, it's not a good mental space for a student athlete.
And as you said before, you saw that firsthand with 17 players from the Saugerties Stallions being in the transfer portal, trying to find a home, and you were able to help them find one. And then from the coach's side of things, if I'm a coach, I'm looking for a couple of guys in the portal. What's your message for me to say, hey, PAC-Hub is where you can find your future stars?
So what I would say, the first thing I'd say to him is reach out to us. Let's get a demo. Let me show you what we have going on here. That's all it takes. I mean, when we went to the convention in Nashville, in one day, we signed up 43 Division I schools. We signed up 25 Division II schools in a day because the need's there. And they were like, I can't believe that's another thing. People come to us and go, we can't believe this does not exist. Right? So, that's what I would say to him. Reach out to us, get a demo. You'll sign up right away. It's such a no-brainer, helpful tool.
You mentioned getting in contact with you. What are some of the ways that people can get in contact with PAC-Hub?
Well, they can go right to our website. They can send it. They can go to our Twitter. They can instant message us. That's probably the easiest way. They can email us. And, we'll be in contact with them shortly. We do have some town hall meetings scheduled. So this way we can give demos to large groups and, just getting the word out there.
Awesome. Kevin, anything else you'd like to add?
No, John, I just thank you for your time. Thanks for allowing us to have a voice on your platform. And, I think we're going to change the way college athletics move forward for sure.
Awesome. Well, it is an interesting time, to say the least, in the world of college athletics. And Kevin Hinchey and PAC-Hub, they have something that really nobody else has right now. So again, as you see bottom of the screen, that is the link to visit www.pac-hub.net. That is the place to go. And he is the man who runs the show. Kevin Hinchey, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.